What is going on, Bulls Nation? So the trade deadline is only a few hours away. So the big question is, can we still trade Zach Lavine? So we're gonna answer that and who might be the possible suitors right after this.
This is your home for all things Chicago Bulls. Join the conversation. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So Zach Lavine kind of messed up the Bulls this season, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty upset about that. Him and his camp are known for this. So I don't want to see Zach in a Bulls uniform ever again, to be quite honest with you. But besides that, Zach being injured and not us being able to trade him or get off his salary really just handcuffed the Bulls on what they could do, not even this season, but next season as well. So with him not signing, it's pretty much clear that, if the Bulls don't do anything, let's say they stand pat, we are set to lose DeMar for him walking out for nothing, and also Andre Drummond. We can sign and trade him perhaps in the offseason, but there's a few teams that can just sign them outright. Now, with Zach Lavine, there's only a few teams that would trade for him. I think you saw the thumbnail. As a matter of fact, his situation right now, before the injury, there's only a handful of teams that want to deal with Zach. It's not because of the injury. It's because of the contract that he makes relative to the production that he makes. It doesn't add up. The new CBA kind of prohibits. It's not like you can't do it, but if you have your third best player making the max, it'll be really hard to assemble a team. And that's what most teams view Zach. He's very talented, but on a good situation, he's going to be your third best player. And with that being said, he's going to handicap your salary cap. So before the injury, almost no one wants to deal with Zach, especially now. Now, what I'm afraid of, and some people might be asking, it's like, why would you want to deal Zach now at his lowest point? Well, we held on for Zach for a while. It never really went up. I think it's just gonna go down from here on out. He's a lemon at this point. He's not an appreciating asset. His contract is not gonna get smaller. That's the problem with Zach. It's not his talent. I'm pretty sure the teams are not even worried about this injury, because just like anyone from Chicago, we all feel like this injury is bogus anyway. I think it's just BS that he did this injury. He just doesn't want to go to Detroit. But now we need to attach assets to deal Zach Lavine, and that is a fact. And there's only, I would say, a couple of teams, which is Detroit and Charlotte, could trade for Zach. And let me tell you why. Detroit has a bunch of expiring contracts that if they don't trade, for example, Harris, he'll just gonna expire, and now they have cap space. Let's be clear. Let's be honest here. Zach wanted to go to a surgery before playing for Detroit. That's Zach Lavine. What more so, let's say Paul George. Teams like Detroit and Charlotte is going to have to overpay a guy just to play for them. If Klay Thompson got offered $20 million to play for Golden State and $30 million to play for Detroit, I bet you he'll choose Golden State. So with Detroit, either they overpay a different guy for a longer contract, or they take Zach Lavine, and then we probably have to attach, let's say, the Portland pick, and let's just get whatever we could, right? Let's get Harris. I don't know if if we're gonna attach it first, I'd rather get Bogdanovich, because if not, you get Weissman and Harris and just get out of Lavine's contract, right? So you could do that, but if you're gonna attach it first, I would say you get Bogdanovich. With that being said, Detroit's not gonna get a better player than Zach in the offseason. I just find it hard to believe that somebody's going to sign with them. And same goes with the Hornets. Hornets is a franchise that is in a disarray. You don't know what's going to happen to LaMelo. But when healthy, both LaMelo and Zach would be a good combination. I don't know if they're going to retain Miles Bridges. I don't think so. They're shopping him around. But having those two core when Zach comes back, I think it's a good starting point. They still have, both of these teams have a boatload of expiring contracts. They're going to have a tons of cap space. And adding Zach to the mix might still help them kind of lure in those like lower tier free agents, because the prospect of, let's say, instead of just playing with Cade and Detroit Pistons, okay, Cade, Zach's gonna come back, maybe I'll be the third guy, something like that in that order. So that might work for both those teams. Any other teams would just pass on Zach. They pass on Zach when he was healthy. They're definitely gonna pass on him now. And my fears as a Bulls fan, if you don't settle the situation, he's disgruntled. He doesn't want to play for the Bulls anymore. So you got to attach a pick. And maybe the Portland pick, I don't want to attach any Bulls pick at all. I just don't want to do that. I'd rather attach Patrick Williams. But the return, if we attach Patrick Williams, has to be a lot better than Harris and Wiseman and Bogdanovic. Because Patrick Williams has a future. He's one of those, what they call, he's in line with the Ivies and a young prospect, so to speak. So that's what Patrick Williams is. It's a number 4 pick, and I still see potential in him. He does make boneheaded plays, but he does have potential. So my guess is that my hope is that Detroit does this. You compensate them by giving them a pick, or maybe a second rounder and the Portland first, and then same goes with the Hornets. So if we can swing those trades, we can get a player that perhaps can help us now and can free us up next season. That is the goal. Zach doesn't help us now, and Zach also doesn't help us in the future, nor he could help us in the future by, acquiring more, I would say, a better haul. I just don't believe that anymore. I think we sat on the Zach hand for too long, and now AK is paying for that. So let me know in the comments down below, how do you feel about that? I think if it goes down with Charlotte, it's going to be Bo Knight and Hayward. That's better than nothing. That's better than sitting on Zach for the next 3 years. Or if it's Detroit, I think it's going to be Bogdanovic, Harris, and whatever expiring that they have to match the salary. But the bad part is we got to give them picks. Let me know in the comments if you'd rather do that or you'd rather sit with Zach and ride with him and hoping that you'd trade him next February, and in the process you stunt the growth of Kobe White. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.